Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Reality, spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality. Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington, Happiness Specialist, Inner Peace Practitioner, Oracle, Teacher, Student of the Universe. You know, I'm laughing because I'm sitting here, believe it or not, this is Reality Spirituality, so full disclosure, everyone. I'm sitting here in, now I just lost connection. Hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, I got to get back into the studio. Okay, so I'm sitting here in an idle car. I'm on vacation. I air quotes on that, business vacation. So I'm back in Oregon. I'm sitting in my rental car. The audio is connected to speaker, so I don't know how the sound quality is going to sound today. And I don't know, but I am so excited for this show because something happened this week. And you know I love to share my lessons with you because I needed this lesson. I needed this lesson, which was how to let go of sentimental objects, sentimental attachments to things. And we all know that all attachments subtract from happiness and peace. We all know that. So the practice is to let go of all attachments. But how do you let go of your father's because you lost it? But before I get to today's talk, when I say reality, spirituality, and I'm around the corner, I'm sitting in a car around the corner from my Airbnb. I just drove not even a half a block just to get out of there so those people didn't have to listen to me. Anyway, let me get to the top of the show. Happiness Specialist, Inner Peace Practitioner. What does that mean? This show is all about how to experience more happiness along the journey. And I'm not talking about this happiness that comes and goes when events happen. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, when I say happiness, I'm talking about an energy, a vibration, a state of mind, a state in mind, a foundation, your identity. Who are you most of the time? Are you at peace most of the time, or are you ready to snap? Are you ready to just jump into the next moment if something outside bothers you or annoys you or makes you sad or any of that stuff? That's what the show is about. It's how to practice. And happiness the good news is happiness is a practice skill. The question is, what do you practice and how do you practice? So I tell my new listeners, just visualize yourself in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, standing up in a rowboat. The waves are crashing, the tsunami is brewing, the winds, the cold. But you are at peace. It doesn't matter. The storms don't matter because all storms come and go. All life storms come and go. That's just true. Well, let me just scratch back the true. Let me just say all storms come and go. Yeah, I'm going to leave that other conclusion for someone else. I know the truth. I believe all storms come and go, but that may not feel the same to you. So I'm open to you, and that's another thing. We are all as different as our fingerprints, and I get it, and I know it, and I accept it. So there's no judgment like there used to be. Why can't these people be more like me? Why can't these people think more like I do? No. You can be you. You can do what you do, talk like you talk, think about, believe what you believe. All I'm here to do is share what works for me. Woo! And the other thing that I want to say is there's a very, very famous study done by a hospice nurse, Bronnie Ware. We've all heard of it, not all of us, but some of us haven't. And she asked her dying students. That would have been horrible. Her dying patients, what are your 5 biggest regrets? And some of those regrets, not some of them, but some of them just kept coming up over and over and over again. So she narrowed it down, capsulated them into 5 most common regrets, which are, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. Let me tell you this. When I was in my teens and my 20s and my 30s, definitely I was trying to please my father, who this show is really centered around. My father and my father's gold tooth. So yes, trying to please my father, staying in school. I didn't want to go to college. Going to college, buying an American car. I mean, it was thinking like he thought, the same political views he had. I mean, the list was endless. The pleasing, wanting him to approve of me. I mean, it was most of my life, and I'll never forget snapping out of it. I believe I was in my 30s. 30s, maybe a little bit earlier. Maybe a little bit earlier, but I remember snapping out of it when I purchased an American car, because my father was really big on purchasing American cars. He was a union man. You can't purchase anything foreign, especially if it's a car. Oh, here we go. This is a truck that's going to go by, and he's got one of those really big sounding motors. I wonder if you can hear it. Truck. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, back to the story. So he was really big on practicing American, and I remember I didn't want an American car. My dream car at that time was a Nissan 300 ZX. It's one of those sporty cars, and I wanted it so bad. Maybe I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s because I remember I wanted that car since I was 18. I digress. But I wanted that car. He says, "No, you can't put that much money on a foreign car. What are you doing? You're not thinking." So it's just the pressure was just always to do exactly what he wanted me to do. And of course, I passed that on to my son. I was very controlling, but as a mother for a while until I snapped out of it. But let me get back to the car. So I remember purchasing that. I remember getting an American car from one of those lots, from one of those rental car lots, and I picked him up from the airport, and he said, "Oh, now you're thinking, now you're smart, now you know what you're doing." All of these praises because I had bought an American car, but I hated the car, hated it. And after 2 weeks, I returned it right, and I said, "Screw this. I'm going to buy the car that I want," and that was the beginning of me letting go of trying to please him. But listen, it was a long, long, hard journey. It did not happen overnight. I don't know how I got onto that point, but really, it's being true to yourself. First of all, knowing yourself, knowing and really digging deep. Looking in the mirror and is this really me, or it's someone else? And it's a question that you ask yourself in the mirror, and you really have to sit for it for a while, because after a while you will be able to feel. You will be able to feel with your intuition, with your GPS, your universal GPS. You will be able to feel if it's a fit or not. You will be able to feel if it's you or if it's not. Trust me on that. And it's a practice. It's a daily practice. But let's get to. Oh, I didn't even read the rest of the regrets. The first one is pursuing your dreams, not the expectations of others. I wish I didn't work so hard. Well, I never had that problem. I wish I had the courage. Excuse me, did I say that out loud? I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. Listen, I've always been outspoken, but now I'm letting it all rip. Yes, I'm going to share with you exactly what I think, and whether you like me or you don't like me or you judge me or you don't judge me, that's okay, because whatever you do has nothing to do with me or my peace or my contentment. And let me get back to this happiness. When I say happiness is a state of mind, it is a vibration. It's a vibration of peace. It's a vibration of satisfaction. It's a vibration of contentment. Happiness is a vibration. The other regret of the dying, I wish I would have stayed in touch with my friends. Well, you've heard my take on that. No, I've outgrown 99% of all of my friends that I remember having in high school, college, so on. And the last one is I wish I would have let myself be happier. I feel like I've been shot out of a cannon with this topic. Let me take a deep breath, and actually, let me get some water here, too. Oh, there goes another truck. I'm sitting out here in the street. Hello. He just waved at me. Okay. My parents, can't speak for everyone, my parents taught me different lessons about myself and about my attachments to each one of them. I'm only on my father today. Pretend it's Father's Day. In fact, that's another thing. You can celebrate having an attachment to a holiday. First of all attachments subtract from your peace. All attachments to an outcome, attachments to a person, attachments to a job, attachments to how you look, attachments to, and I got to check myself on this one, attachments to, that's not me. Well, the truth is the me, who is that me? And the me is always changing, always evolving, because who I was 5 years ago, I'm running around here looking like a mountain person. And before I moved to Oregon, I was one of these, makeup, look cute, put this on, that on, heels, sometimes heels, that kind. And now flannel. Where are my flannels? Where are my flannels? Absolutely no makeup, a little bit of lipstick, I have to say. But no, shed the makeup. So the attachments to a look, the attachments to anything, all attachments subtract from peace. But let me say this. I had never learned or thought about or experienced this attachments to sentimental objects. When my mother died, I took an umbrella. I didn't take any contents from that house. I took her umbrella, which was an inside-outside opening umbrella, and I took this purple stone that she had that wasn't set, just a plain stone, and I have those. My father, I took a few of his ties, and I took, I scratched the took. I saved, that's what I really want to say, saved a few of his ties. He was really big into wearing suits when he was working. And I saved his ties, and I saved his gold tooth. His gold tooth. Now, his gold tooth I carried around. I've probably been carrying this around in my wallet. Let's see, 3 years? 3 years. Yes, because I just got access to the house. You all know the story about when my mother died, she gifted the house to the handyman. It took me a year and a half to get the house back with the contents in it. So when I did get the house back with the contents in it and donated everything in that house, because I no longer had any attachments to that stuff, but that ties, which I've already given my father's ties away to charity. But I have one thing from him, and it's his gold tooth. And I got it when I got back, and I found it when I got back into that house. Okay, but here we go. I've carried his gold tooth in my wallet, in the change compartment. You know, you zip up where your change is, zip it out so you don't lose change. I think guys keep their change in their pockets. I have no idea, but I keep it in a wallet in a little zip compartment. And that's where I kept my father's gold tooth for, I would say, 3 years, at least 3 years. Well, and I may get a little sentimental about, I may start tearing up for this, but we all know, if you've listened to this show, that the crying and the tears and the feelings have nothing to do with the story. Oh, I'm maybe crying, may choke up, may have a little boo-hoo, but that's only because it's time for me to cry. It's time for me to feel this emotion. I'm not going to label it. I'm just going to go through it. See, the stories that we tell ourselves, the story that I tell myself, who is the author of that story? That's why it's always suspect if anything is longer than 3 words. If you're putting this together longer than a 3-word statement, you know it's a story, and who's creating that story? Who's the author of that story? It's always the ego, the mind. In my case, I mean, you tell me who's coming up with the thoughts in your head. Anyway, I digress. So I this was about 3 days ago. It was 3 days ago. I was at a store and I was paying for something, and I usually dump all my change into my hand, and that's where I see my father's tooth. I always see the change, and I see his tooth. Well, 3 days ago, I dumped all the change out in my hand, and I don't see his tooth. Where is my dad's tooth? Where is the gold tooth? And, of course, I pay for it, and, man, I'm getting a little frantic. I'm getting a little, what happened? Where is it? Get out of line. And now I'm looking in my wallet for my father's tooth. And I'm looking and I'm looking. And you know when you've through things and you look for the same, and you look in the same spot 10 times? I went through my wallet. There's only a couple places. There's only a couple places, the side of the wallet, the little corners, the other side, maybe it fell over here. And I know myself because I'm just a little bit more forgetful, a little bit more scatterbrained. I've noticed it, and that's just what's happening. But and my ego used to tell me, put this story, but you're losing it. You're going to have dementia, just like your mom and just like your dad. You're losing it. You're getting Alzheimer's. I get those stories too. But I know who's the author. And the truth is, regardless of whether I get dementia or Alzheimer's, that's going to be my destiny too. That's it also. I'm going to be accepting of that. However, I do have a plan, but that's another show. That's a totally another show. Hint, hint, Dr. Kevorkian. Whatever. That's right, Dr. Kevorkian. Because I'll be damned if... No, I know that I'm not in charge of any of this. I know that. But let's get back to the tooth. I'm looking through the wallet. And I'm taking deep breaths, and the more I look, the more tense I get, the more emotional I get. And I just break down. I just break down. I said, oh, my God. This was his, how could I lose his tooth? This was a part of him. It's got his DNA. It's got his DNA in it. You can't get any more personal than a gold tooth. Well, it wasn't a tooth. It was a gold crown over the tooth. Oh, and I was just, I remember walking in the parking lot. I just kept crying and crying and crying while I was looking for the 100th time in the same places I was looking before. Finally, the realization that, okay, you lost it. I still have a little glimmer of hope that maybe I took it out before I went on this trip, but I know I didn't. I know I didn't. I always keep that tooth in my wallet. I also wear a Buddha around my neck, which I've had probably 35 years. And I remember, and I have thought about, what if you lost the Buddha? Because I never take it off. I've taken it off, and I interchange it with the gold, but with the purple stone. I've interchanged it with that, but I usually only wear the Buddha or the purple stone. So I thought about, what if I lost the Buddha that I've had 5 years? And that's an easy one for me. I'll just get another Buddha. But my father's gold tooth really stumped me. I couldn't come up with another perspective of how to accept and how to be okay with something that was that sentimental. And that's where we're going to get to the show. Sentimental attachments. There are all kind of attachments, but the sentimental attachment, how? And I'm going to say, and this was not my solution. This was not my solution. This was my best friend's solution. And when I called him, and I was crying, and I lost my father's gold tooth. So this is not my solution. This is his, but it's genius. I'm not even giving myself credit for it, which my ego would love to do. It's never about how you get the lesson. You could get a lesson from a serial killer. Listen, spirituality, God is found in a temple, in a church, and in a back alley. It doesn't matter where you find it, where you get it. All lessons can be found anywhere at any time. But let's get back to what he told me, because I was upset. I was crying. And he says, you can replace that. He says, find some place that tooth with. Find, not another tooth, find something else and say that's your father's tooth, even if it's a hairbrush. So even if it's another wallet or whatever it is, find another object if you feel inspired to. If you don't, you don't have to do it. But if you feel inspired, find another object to put in your wallet and say that's your father's tooth. See, this ego will keep us stuck without another perspective or another solution. He said, find another object to put in your wallet. I don't know, but that just felt so good to me. It felt so good to my soul, and that was that day. Now, later on, I was in Marshall's. I'm in Oregon. I was in Marshall's. I needed a couple of T-shirts. I digress. One of the things that I've been trying to do is not overpack. And so when I packed one T-shirt, not three, one, I needed another T-shirt. So I had to go to Marshall's and buy T-shirts. That's the one thing about packing light. Sometimes you got to purchase what you don't pack. And that's why I was in Marshall's. So I said, you know what? And I had this old wallet. And I said, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a new wallet. And that new wallet is going to represent my father. And that's going to be that. And I was kind of, I know what a wallet has nothing to do, doesn't look like a tooth, not even related to a tooth, not even in the family of a tooth. And I said, but you know what? I'm gonna say that the tooth is now the wallet. And one of the things my father was, one of the things Ralph Norrington did was really care about money. I mean, money was his. He picked up a penny, played penny slots, penny, money. It was a big priority for my father. He was very cheap, really cared about money. And that's another thing that, and I was the opposite. So I digress again. The wallet kind of felt, that's a good idea. Picked up the wallet. But there was something that was still not really. And the following day, a Friday, I went to the Lavender Festival. And if you follow me on Facebook and or Instagram or Twitter, I posted a few photos of me at the Lavender Festival. which is an annual festival here. Oh, the smells, it's a great place if you've never been to a lavender festival. I don't know how many places they have it, but anyway, Roseburg, Oregon. I highly recommend it once a year. Bottom line is, while I was walking, there were a few vendors that had stones for sale. And this one vendor had a table for children. It said, Kid Stones, $1. And I walked by it because I had just arrived at the festival, and you know how you walk by different booths. And I said, I'm going to walk all the way around, and then on my way back, I will look at the stone. And then my ego says, well, all these stones are here. Maybe you can find something to put in your wallet. But if you leave now, then maybe the stone that you were supposed to get will be gone. See, that ego just will never shut the up. It's always got some doom and gloom story to tell me. And I looked and I said, ego, if the stone that I'm supposed to get now is gone, it wasn't mine to begin with. See, that's how that's how I navigate my ego. So I walked away, and sure enough, after I went through the whole, probably about 2-3 hours of going through the festival, coming back, on the way back, there we go, same little table, Kid Stones, $1. And I stand there, and I'm looking at a stone, and I see this one. It's a little beige white, and it's got a red stripe in it. And these aren't just rocks. They're beautiful marble stones. They're beautiful, but they're small. A red stripe. I picked it up, and on one side of the stone was very, very smooth. And on the other side of the stone, half of it was smooth, and half of it was rough. And it had a little bit of a curve to the top of it where the rough was, where you put your thumb in and you can feel the roughness. And guess what, my dear listeners? Guess what, my dear audience? The stone was shaped like a tooth. It's shaped like a tooth. The stone is shaped like a tooth. And I just couldn't get over how perfect that stone is. I'm looking at it. That was it, one stone. I saw the little stripe. And I said, well, the smoothness is going to represent life. Because sometimes life feels very smooth. Sometimes life feels so smooth and so easy. And sometimes this life just feels a little rough. And that is the truth. $1 for the stone. Now, it's bigger than a tooth. I would say it's probably 5 times the size of a molar, maybe even bigger than that. But not too big. And when I put it in my wallet, it kind of it has a little bulge to it. So I'm still walking. I'm walking back to my car, and there's a gentleman in Roseburg, Oregon, that makes casings for stones by hand with either gold or silver. And in fact, he made the casing for me 2 years ago when I took that purple stone out of my parents' house. It was a single stone, and he made the casing for me almost 2 years ago. He remembered me last year when I saw him at the Lavender Festival, but he didn't remember me this year. And I was walking back, same way to exit, and I saw him, and I said, you know what? Because I was just going to put the stone in my wallet. I said, you know what? I'm going to ask him to make a casing for this tooth stone that I now have that represents my father's tooth. And I said, but if it's over $40, forget it. So when I went to his booth, I asked him, I said, how much to make a casing for the stone? And he said $35. And I said, $30? And he said, okay, $30. And I said, this stone has a very special meaning to me. And he said, what is it? And of course, when he said that, here we go. Not fireworks, but waterworks again. Oh, boo-hoo, my father's tooth. I lost my father's gold tooth. Now it's at the point where I can even laugh. See, moments, sentimental moments come and go. Don't ever think you're stuck in one moment. Don't ever think you're stuck with the same feeling and drag these moments all the way into your present and all the way into your future. I was already over the crying about the tooth, I thought. And then he's looking at me, and I said, my father's tooth, I lost it, and this is going to represent the tooth that I lost. And I had a little bit more tears, and then, oh, I get it. And the story, the end of the story is I'm going to have a tooth, a stone tooth, that's in case where I can either wear it as a necklace, or I can hang it up on the rear view mirror in the car, or I can hang it anywhere else. But I will have what will represent my father's gold tooth. The point of all of this is you are never stuck. You are never stuck with one way to get out of you are never stuck to get out of a challenge. There is always room to get out. It's just a broadening, an opening, more consciousness, more. Ask the universe, how? How do I come up with another perspective of this quote-unquote loss? And there we go, attachments to a sentiment, attachments to a loss. Anything that keeps coming up over and over and over again, know that you can change it. You don't have to celebrate 4th of July in July. You can celebrate 4th of July in October. Let all of these these restrictions, these putting yourself in a place where you don't need to be locked in. Open it up, people. Be different. Be strange. Be different than the norm. I love when people think I'm a weirdo. I embrace weirdo-ness. Oh, please. Yes, I'm a weirdo. And there was a time where that would have insulted me. You're different. You're odd. You're strange. You're weird. I could have never embraced those words before. But here we go. You know what we teach on. You know what we teach. You know what I share on this show. Words don't have power anyway. And how you feel about yourself and how the universe feels about you is way more important than what these humans. Who the heck cares about what a human thinks about you? Are you kidding me? A human? What you think about me? Sorry, not interested. The tooth stone, and in fact he called me, the gentleman that makes the casings, the tooth stone is going to be ready tomorrow. I'll have it in a casing. I'll be able, I could keep it in my wallet if I want to, or I could hang it from a chain if I want to. Anything of sentimental value can be replaced with whatever you want or nothing. The ego mind wants me to feel bad as many times as possible for as long as possible. This being sentimental, oh, this was my mother's diamond ring. I get it. Trust me, I do. I lived a long time holding on to sentimental things for sentimental values. In fact, speaking about teeth, I have all of my son's teeth when you pop them out. They're somewhere. They're somewhere. Hold on a second. I got to take a little bit of water. They're somewhere in this house. There's somewhere in the house that I'm living in now. Yeah, I got all of my son's teeth that came out that were pulled out, his baby teeth. Hey, how about a tooth necklace? No, okay, I that's a joke. The point is, whatever you label sentimental, know that is an attachment, and the practice is to be able to let go of all attachments. The universe is attached to nothing. Nothing, whether it's an attachment to, I'm going to have a good day, whether it's an attachment to a friend, whether it's an attachment to a phone call, whether it's a sentimental attachment or not. Practice being aware of your attachments. In fact, what are some of your attachments? What are you attached to? What are you attached to? Little by little, growth doesn't happen overnight. Little by little, letting go of all these attachments. It's just like overpacking and letting go of those suitcases. I don't have to take that suitcase. Don't have to bring that suitcase. Letting go, little by little, of all attachments. See, you go back to when a child is born, when a baby is born, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. There are no attachments. No physical attachment, none. So when I say it is a program, having attachments, I didn't even say that yet. Having attachments is all a program. It is a programmed way of thinking. Being attached to anything is a programmed way of thinking. And if it's a program, you know that it's just a matter of time where that programming is going to subtract from your peace, from your vibration of peace, from your energy of peace, a.k.a. happiness. The program is always the issue, the program. And let me just share this one. Where is that? I love to share this one. Where is it? I'm sitting here in a car. Let's see. Okay. And I have some of my notes all spread over the passenger seat. The struggle is always internal. All suffering comes from thinking that something else comes from thinking that something needs to be different than what is actually happening. The truth is the vibration of satisfaction is not taught or practiced in today's world. So the vibration, I'm satisfied in this moment. When you are attached and you lose your attachment or you let go of an attachment, letting go of all attachments bring more peace. And that includes letting go of people. And in fact, when you let go of being attached to a person, and I'm talking about my number one son, my only son, letting go of being attached to him, I can love more. Because you can feel when somebody's attached to you. You can feel it. You can love more when you let go of attachment. I guarantee when you're vibrating dissatisfaction in any moment, you're going to be vibrating dissatisfaction in all your future moments too. Let me take a deep breath for this one. Hopefully the audio you can hear me clearly. I know it may sound kind of strange in a car. I'm sitting here with the car on, the air is on, the windows are closed. And now I'm looking at these two kids riding, they're cyclists, not skateboards. They're skateboards with handles, scooters. Oh, look at them. Little ratty kids. Oh, I mean little wonderful kids. Oh, they're so cute. And guess what? That's the age of these kids. I'm looking at them maybe 8, 9. They're just growing their attachments. Just growing into having attachments, but they don't have as much as when they're going to be bigger. The programming of having attachments and how important sentimental attachments are going to be totally up to you. I don't know if you resonate with the lesson today or resonate with what I shared today or not, but I thought it was pretty genius what my best friend said to me. Find something else to replace your father's gold tooth and be done with it. Bam. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Now, next week for sure, I am going to be traveling, so I will not have a show in the morning. I may have a show later when I arrive at my destination, but I do have to get on a plane Sunday. Anyway, thank you for listening to Reality Spirituality, which is heard every Sunday, unless I'm traveling, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And now Reality Spirituality is going to be streamed live where I'm going to be on different platforms. So that's in the future. So let me just be quiet with that for now. Visit my website, RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. My YouTube channel is a work in process. But I am going to be putting on more videos. And guess what? She's going to be on TikTok. I just don't know when, but people are pushing me to get out a little bit more, Rebecca. Oh, here comes my Airbnb person. Get out a little bit more, Rebecca. Let me see if they waved. Get out a little bit more, Rebecca. Hold on a second, audience. I have to wave to my Airbnb host, or else. Oh, they don't even see me. Oh, that was so good. They didn't even recognize me. I love it when I can travel being invisible. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington, LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I already said all that. My first book, Reality Spirituality, the book about happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And I wrote a chapter in the book that was published, and it's on Amazon in March 2022. Went to the Amazon bestseller list. It's called The Book I Read. And I just wrote a chapter. It's a collaboration book, and I wrote a chapter in the book about which book has been most influential with me. Of course, there's more than one book. There's David Hawkins, Ernest Holmes, Deepak, Eckhart Tolle, Guy Finley. There's been a lot of people that have been influential. Byron Katie. Oh, can't forget Abraham Esther. So until next week, did you hear that? Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. Your conscious energy, which is always evolving and always changing, always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be kind and patient with yourself and your own growth. Accept where you are in every moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending. Oh, thank you. I know you can hear that, because if you can hear me, you can hear that. So remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, oracle, teacher, student. Happiness is a practice skill. I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you'll find, and your experience in every moment reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week. Wonder why the music isn't playing. The music isn't playing. The music isn't playing. Reality, spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Oh, you're going to be good for this one. Reality, spirituality. Another real difference. Another. What does he say? Which is my son. That's what I'm talking about. Have a great week, everyone. Later, alligators.